All right, welcome back. This is your video, your IXL video for Math R.2. Once again, you can come into the assignment. This is for 319 and click on it from one of the links, or you can go to ixl.com and find it yourself. Either way, you have to make sure you have your name up in that top corner. Otherwise, I'm not being able to see it for you, and you are not getting credit for it, which sucks. So let's make sure we're doing that. So we have adding fractions with unlike denominators. Remember, IXL randomly generates the problems, so you might see different problems than me. That's okay. The process is still the same. So first, I have 1/8 plus 3/4. And I have to, before I do anything else, get a common denominator. So in order to get a common denominator, I need to check and see if my smallest denominator can go into my biggest denominator evenly. So in this case, does 4 go into 8 evenly? Or by evenly, I just mean without a remainder. Do they go in without a remainder? And yes, in this case it does. So 1/8 is not going to change because 8 is going to be my common denominator. But I am going to have to change 3/4. So I have to figure out what times 4 equals 8. 4 times 2 equals 8. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So I have 1/8 plus, and then my other fraction. Well, this is in parentheses, so that means I've got to do it first. I have 1/8 plus, I know that 8 is going to be my denominator because that's my common denominator. And then 3 times 2 is 6. Whenever I add fractions, my denominator does not change. So 8 is my denominator. Then 1 plus 6 is 7. So my answer is 7/8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my IXL. I'm going to put 7, then slash, which is the one on the same key with the question mark. 7, which is my numerator, slash 8, because my numerator goes and then my slash. Now I'm ready for my next problem. So this one, my problem is 7/10 plus 1/5. So I have 7/10 plus 1/5. You can use this on a separate sheet of paper just to do your work. It's whatever is easier for you. You do not have to show your work on something. So if you have a whiteboard that you can reuse over and over, do it. But I'm always going to write my work out just so I can catch any careless mistakes. I'm going to check, does my smaller denominator go into my bigger denominator evenly? In this case, it does. So 10 is going to be my denominator because 5 goes into 10 evenly. So I have 7/10. That's not going to change because it's already got my common denominator. But I have to change 1/5. 5 times what equals 10? 5 times 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And since that's in parentheses, I have to handle that before I can do anything else with my problem. So I have 7/10 plus my denominator of 10, and then 1 times 2, which equals 2. Whenever I add fractions, my denominator doesn't change, so my denominator is still 10. 7 plus 2 equals 8, or does not equal 8, it equals 9. So my answer is going to be 9/10. So I put 9/10, and I hit submit. One more of these problems. All right. So this time I have 3/8 plus 1/2. I'm looking for a common denominator so I can solve this problem. I'll look at my smallest denominator and see if it goes into my largest. Does 2 go into 8 evenly? It does. So 8 is going to be my common denominator. So 3/8 won't have to change, but 1/2 will. Whatever one I'm changing, I put in parentheses so I know to handle it first. 2 times what equals 8? 2 times 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And then I go ahead and I move on to the next step. So I have 3/8 plus, and then I do what's in the parentheses first. 2 times 4 is 8. Oh, got my common denominator, so I didn't mess up yet. And then I have 1 times 4 is 4. Whenever I do common denominators and I'm adding, my denominator does not change. And then 3 plus 4 equals 7. So my answer to this one is 7/8, or 7/8. Submit it. You're going to keep going. One thing with your IXL, remember on the instructions, it will tell you you need to reach 90% on both to get it correct. So that's what I'm looking for when I go through. If you are really struggling with this SMART score has got to get up to 90%. Now, see, I've only answered 3 questions. That's why my SMART score is low, even though I've gotten them all right, just because I've only done 3 questions so far. So keep working at it, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow.